Hi everyone, my name's Sophia. Welcome to this community. So this video I want to talk to you about the shift that's going on at the moment. Actually, it started on the 22nd of November, and this is connected with the shift of the two worlds. Now if you're watching me, you're known as a lightworker, twin flame, a starseed, a seed from the star, an alien celestial galactic being that has a purpose on this planet. So this shift, as you may know from last year, it was, you know, all the Hollywood films and stuff was talking about the end of the world, right? And that was the prediction of the virus. No, correction. Planets shape your world, regardless if you believe it or not. If you said to someone on the street, do you believe, for example, if Mars is going retrograde, sextile to Jupiter, something like that, it's astrology talk, right? They'll be like, what are you on about? And I'll say, well, it's affecting your mood, your stuff like that, you know, how you control your life and stuff like that, your relationships, because, you know, putting restrictions in your relationships, Mars and Jupiter, right? And they'll be like, what, you're going crazy, right? But most people know about their star sign. This is very important that you understand this concept, because if, for example, you ask me, I'm not a great example, right? I'm going to give an example for Libras, because most Libras watch. Now, most spiritual, enlightened celestial beings are a Libra, because Libra is about fairness, right? So if you are, or you have it in your chart, or it's you're connected with someone who's Libra, because Libra is about fairness. Celestial beings are here to bring fairness to this planet, because we're being enslaved. The negative side of that, of being a Libra, is because this planet isn't fair. So most Libras are, how do I say it nicely, not at their best, right? Because when you're aligned with oneself, and if you're someone who's Librian, is that the right way of saying it? Then you're always fighting against, you're trying to get something that's fair, and this of a planet that isn't fair. So that's why most Libras are light beings, to understand that you have to work on yourself and then teach others about this planet is being unfair. So I'll give an example. If you say to someone about your star sign, they will say yes, yes, especially all star signs, but I can't say mine, because I'm quite different, my contract. But say a Libra, they will say, yeah, I'll say, when was you born? Do you know your star sign? Most people know their star sign, say yes, example Libra. And then not only do they say, yeah, I'm Libra, right? They go into the depths of, I need balance, I need to logicate, and all that kind of stuff, specific to their star sign. Now I want you to hear that word, star sign, right? So the signs from the planets, the stars, control how your personality, the sun is your personality, or is it the moon? Something like that, right? I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into the astrology, right? So the planet shape, how this planet is aligning. Now, with the virus, how it worked was last year, November, there was a massive shift of this planet, because it was getting too dark. So the planets, obviously, they know the upstairs, let's just say, the all entities, let's say, right, positive entities, know about the planet. So they make shifts according to what's gonna to align the planet so it doesn't get too corrupted, fucked up and stuff like that, let's just say, right? So if you're an astrologer, you knew that last year, November, there was going to be a massive shift, right? So the dark entities, elite secret society, Illuminati, what they do is you lot who's not in the know. They check astrology in advance to see when there's positive changes of the planet, and so they know, for example, that the planets are trying to make humanity better for waking them up last year November. So what they do is, okay, what do we distract humanity with so that they don't wake up, so they don't align, so they don't connect, so they don't all that kind of stuff? Virus in your face, right? So that's how it kind of works. So last year from November, there was all about this wake up, wake up, wake up, but that's how the elite secret society control us, with checking out astrology to see how the planets are prediction of the future, but there's no future, right? And I've got to talk about timelines to see, and then they put something in event so that when a particular shift is happening in this world, they would distract you, such as television and stuff like that. So, and it was a massive shift. That's why there was a massive change. Now, this prediction of this change was from quite years ago, let's just say, because the Hollywood movies were talking about 2021 and the end of the world and all this kind of thing. So they're in the know. You just don't know. Today, not today, from 22nd of, well, from the 11/11 portal, let's just say, that was opening up the heart space for most of humanity to align with the frequency of love, because this planet is the frequency of love, right? But we're programmed to logicate. That's why most Libras are very important, right? Because they have to learn to logicate and align with heart, which creates wisdom. If you just logicate, for example, most of you that watch me, makes logical sense to book me because I guarantee my work. But logicating also, well, I've booked a tarot reader in the past and it didn't work, right? But when you connect with heart, you know something is. The heart is intuition, inner knowing, and connecting upstairs. But most people are programmed just to think about a situation. You go to work, to school, to work, to think. They don't teach you to follow intuition. That's why, side note, that's why people who do banking and investment and properties that are follow their intuition are more successful than those that logicate, because we go into houses and we can preempt if the landlord is good and stuff like that. Intuition is better than logicating, because you're not reading a person. And the planet is trying to make us open up our heart space so we can read situations. Because although you're listening to me, your sensitivity, you're known as a sensitive, you've got heightened empathic abilities, and so is your person. They don't necessarily see it that way or would admit it to you, but they definitely have more heightened abilities. That's why your person generally is more depressed, more frustrated, and more on drugs and stuff like that, because they're sensitive to others and they're reading others, and then they're like, why aren't they doing things correctly, right? And they put it down to their star sign of Libra and all this kind of stuff, but it's not, right? Because we're sensitive, and that's due to being celestial beings. Anyway, so from the 22nd of November, what happened was this shift started. Now, it's not really an astrology, a planetary shift. It's more about the planets aligning the cause for the core. There's a word for it. It doesn't matter because most wouldn't really know it. Oh gosh, it's gone. Right? Shifting the Earth's core. So there is a shift in the quantum field, is what I'm trying to say. Because I can't really say, come up here and say, oh, well, there's an eclipse, right? Most people heard of that, you know, in tarot and astrology, there's eclipse. I can't really say there's, you know, there's a retrograde or something like that. It's not. It's not in plain sight, is what I'm trying to say. But there's an energetic shift of the Earth's core. That's right. of what to now separate the enlightened ones with the negative. Now, from January, 100% you're going to start seeing the negative for real. It's already started. 22nd of November is when the Earth's core shifted, and that's the same time that the negative was released as well, because the dark entities balance out the positive. And this year was about building your foundation, working on your health. Your foundation is your body and your world, right? The physicality and your body. So working on your foundation, you generally had a year, because 2021 is about building the foundation. So for next year, you're all sorted when the shit hits the fan. Most people thought from last year, when they was all talking about the shift of the two worlds, that it was like, okay, now I'm chosen. Well, every centennial, I'm not probably pronouncing that correctly, centennial beings on this earth chose to be here, right? They all chose to be here, which goes with a contradiction with vegetarians, but I'm just saying, right? It goes way deeper than what you know, because health is very important. Like, people will go to Amazon to do drugs to resonate with 3D. This modern society world won't work, because they lived a completely different life. That's the same with vegetarian and stuff like that. That, because I tried to be vegetarian, and I when I ate meat, I felt more aligned. It's about the frequency and the modern life you live in. If you live in the jungle and you have brought up without hardly eating any animals, fine. But in the Western world, or the modern world, whatever it's called, right, you can't shift. And what the 1111 portal was opening the heart space, so you could be your true, authentic self. It's very important not to follow trends, not to follow, well, you know, I don't want to kill animals. I need to talk about that. They're saying about that. The thing with animals, and I don't give a shit who this pisses off or triggers, as of you, right, especially if you're watching me, you've had some, and your person, some shitty upbringing. Abuse, abandonment, neglect, rejection, sexual abuse, beaten as a child, all stuff that's bad, right? But you chose, doesn't matter if you've remembered, you probably won't remember, because the purpose of this planet is to experience. So if you come down from wherever, right, and 5D and stuff like that, you come down to this planet and you remember what's the point of experiencing it, because you will know, right? So how can you experience what you know? It's like going to the cinema and knowing what you're going to watch. So when you get onto the 3D and you're birthed, you forget why you're here. But you had a contract to be here, because there's billions of entities would love to experience this planet. So you forget. My point is that, but you chose to have that experience of sexual abuse, of abandonment, whatever, from childhood, right? When you're an adult, you're supposed to transmute it with the natural law of transmutation of energy, right? That's why it's called perpetual transmutation of energy, because you continually transmute it, not one off, right? And people don't really, people might say to me, oh, how do you do that? I'm like, you need to really get into the core of yourself, then know how to transmute it. Another video, no doubt. My point is that when you come down here, you choose to be here. And that's any being that has a consciousness, right? Animals have consciousness, but they're just a lower conscious energy, right? But any animal or any being that has consciousness chose to be here. So if they experience being eaten, right, they chose that experience. Here's what's not right. The treatment of the animals is what the difference is. I remember when I was watching, I can't remember what it's called. I watched something It wasn't me, it was an ex-partner, and he used to like watching, which was quite weird when I think about it, guys that go out to the sea and catch fish. I don't know why, right? And I remember I was cooking and I watched the telly, right, whilst it was cooking, and they had so many in this massive net, and half of them, right, they caught all these fish, they died. They brought them up, right, they died. And half of them they brought back because they chucked over dead fish because they couldn't carry the load back. That's the bit that most people don't understand. They think the actual eating of the meat is bad, but our actual, even our teeth is designed, the back wisdom teeth is designed for chewing on the meat. It's very important. So most people go into spirituality, vegetarian and stuff, and they say, and it's interesting because I was speaking to Joey about it, but he was telling me about it, that you think you're doing it for the best of the animal, but it's that, like, even as you know, chickens are put in cages and stuff like that. That's what's inhumane or not good for the animals, not the actual eating of them, how they are slaughtered and stuff like that, right? That's what it is. And also the meat you eat is very important because of, you know, they pump all the stupid chemicals and stuff into it. It's more about finding about that, right? Anyway, so they just wanted me to say about that. So that's where it comes to the health, because like I said, when I go to my healthier side, I have dizzy spells, right? Oh, sorry for delays in emails and bookings and stuff, because I've had vertigo, right? And if you've suffered from something, it doesn't really, didn't want to come up here and say to everyone, if you've had an illness, it's connected with this shift. It is, but it's not affecting everybody. So in case you think, well, I've been fine, that's fine. But some of us is releasing toxins and stuff in the body because the darkness is to come. Anyway, back on track with this shift. So from the 22nd of November, there was this quantum field release, which shifts the Earth's core. Now, they know upstairs that by doing this will release negativity, because that's how it is, right? So, but they knew, but if you've had a whole year to sort yourself out, you know, find your place to live, get healthy, get your foundation, your job, come out of that 3D, come away from people, all the stuff I say on this community, work on transmuting, work with the natural planet. Most spiritual leaders talk about be natural, but don't speak about natural law of the planet you live on, right? Go into nature, breathe in the fresh air, stretch your toes on the grass, but they don't talk about the actual air, the energetic frequency, right, which is natural law. This is connected with, so I want to talk about what is actually happening now, because I noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but my tarot readings have changed. I'm connecting, and the last time that happened was the change of the frequency from the twin flame contract. This change that I've noticed with my tarot readings, the last 3 days or something like that, is more connected with new people. I'm pulling in more new people, and it's quite interesting, but you probably don't know, it's not just twin flame light workers, starseeds. I'm pulling in soulmates as well, I've noticed within my readings. So I just thought I'd mention that in case you think what's going on, it's not really resonating. There's a shift, because I'm trying to connect with all my programs. Don't work with light workers, starseeds, twin flames. My programs are here for everybody. The world, the natural law is for everybody on this planet, right? You're just here to help me to tell others to align with the natural core frequency and to use natural laws. That's why I connect with you, because that is our job, that is our mission. So what's happening with this change? So the positive is that they've given all light workers, they're like, okay, you knew about the shifts of the two worlds, right? You didn't see nothing happening, but you knew to build your foundation, right? You're sensitive, you know, everything I'm saying, I'm reminding you of what you already know, right? So you knew to do that and stuff like that. If you didn't, you came across a channel or someone like me who told you what to do. You chose to focus on your twin flame journey. You chose to just sell crystals. You chose just to do Reiki, right? But you heard me, or others have heard me, because I know there's other spiritual leaders that listen to me, but they choose not to collaborate because they have to come out of their ego to say, yep, Sophia, what I'm doing is crap, right? It's not helping anyone but me. That's ego, right? But this shift is actually dividing the actual real light workers, not light workers, what can I say? It's dividing the real humanitarians. Okay, there it is. It's dividing the people who are actually doing what they're supposed to do to the ones that ain't. You're gonna see the shift. For example, when this virus came out, it depends how long you've been following me, you will notice it's not made any difference to this community at all. If anything, it's grown, right? I've now opened again twin flame community, soulmate community, now got a Facebook group, right? I think over this year, because it was about building, I made the school as well, and then I got into counselling. But most people you've heard about losing jobs or died from the virus. I've got to do one about a virus. If you're new, I haven't spoken about it for a while, but I'll put it on the Facebook group. The link's in the description box, because YouTube I think is a bit more stricter, so I don't like to talk about that on here, but I talk about it. I'll do a video about it on the Facebook group. So anyway, so what's it doing is it's separating the people from who is actually helping humanity to those that ain't. Those that are not, I don't care how many subscribers, I don't care how long they've been up here, I don't care. If they are not doing stuff like we are in mission, what I am doing and what we are doing in mission is humanitarian work. We are helping people to come out of mental enslavement with using the natural laws of the planet. Right? If they're not doing something which helps people on a one-to-one without focusing on the crowd, on the money, to get money and greed from themselves, you will see them saying that, well, I'm not successful, or they won't be successful, right? They won't be growing as of this community is growing. They will just be constantly up there talking. And then 1 minute, oh, I've done a book. That's all the spiritual leaders do, is books. They don't really do programs, right? Twin flames kind of know. That's a good thing about twin flames. They know to make programs, not books. All spiritual leaders have got this new book, I've got this new book, and I've got this new book. I don't know what else they really do. Or they talk, or they, which is, see how the planet with the virus now, they can't go to the halls and the events, and stand up there and get all the attention, all eyes on me, look at me, right? And take all these money from all these people. One-to-one helps. So you're going to see a shift. What's happening also is that, for example, with this darkness, it's going to make you feel that, for example, if you go and book a spiritual leader or a tarot reader before now, right, I'll say January, right, before January and in the past, and I've got to talk about timelines, shit, this is long. What you would do is follow the trend. The tarot reader, you book, oh yeah, your person's here, get with your person, they love you, blah blah blah. If you go to do Reiki, yep, this Reiki master teacher said it's working, so I just believe it's working and not doing dots. With this negative that's coming, right, with the darkness, there's going to be dog eat dog. It's got basically what I'm hearing. It's going to be like chaos. The chaos is now going to start. The people thought with the in and out of the virus that it was going, right? But I knew soon as the government put on things such as buses and in shops and on public transport, they put the shields up and stuff like that. They would not put that in if it was temporary. That was the start. Now, from January, the permanency of this virus will be more apparent. The lockdowns will be more apparent, more mandatory. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Things will be in your awareness, more job losses. And when there's lockdowns and there's more permanency of the lockdown, then that's when people are going to start losing jobs. And then obviously there's not other jobs for you to get because there's loss of work, because there's lockdowns and there's no jobs open. And that's what you will, so people will be like, okay, I'm spiritual, so I'm going to book a Reiki master teacher, a bit of yoga, a bit of acupuncture, and they're going to be like, it's not working, because they're going to be desperate to get things that actually work. That's what you're going to see. So I don't know if you're going to actually see the person who's talking and stuff, because they might just blag that they're doing fine, but literally they won't. There's stuff you will book. Like I said before, people just follow the crowd. If you go to an event and Abraham Hicks at the front of the room and she's chatting bullshit about getting to the vortex, close your eyes, everyone in the room, and I want you to get into the vortex, and all you have to do is simply allow this vortex ball to come into your reality, then you'll be a millionaire, right? Do you feel it? The room will go, yeah, 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 because no one wants to say, shut up, what are you talking about? I can't feel jack shit. I'm only thinking about pizzas and what I'm going to do when I get home. They're not going to be open like me, right? They wouldn't. So most people just follow the sheep and follow the crowd. Not anymore. They're going to be like, I went there, I didn't say anything, but I didn't feel anything neither. I'm going to search for something else that actually works to put my money in. That's the new way forward. Now, as you know, or if you don't know because you're new, I guarantee everything I do. So they're going to start booking more of stuff in the community, plus collaboration. Pisces in Uranus, I think, is about collaboration as well. So this shift is actually now happening. From last year of the shift of the two worlds, people just presumed, oh, well, I'm spiritual, so I must be the chosen one and I must be enlightened, although I don't feel anything. And I'm not doing anything any different, right? Let's be fair. That's what all the spiritual leaders were doing. Oh, but I'm now chosen, right? That's what they think. But they knew something else was coming. Most spiritually, I'm sure, I don't know, I don't listen to anyone. I ain't got time. But I'm sure they're still saying something like the shift is coming, because they get the same downloads as me. But they were still doing the same old. So if they're getting the download of the shift is coming, they're still getting the same download about collaboration. They're still getting the same download of pull back. What are you doing that is changing people? Not your pocket. What are you doing as an alien, celestial, galactic person that is changing planet Earth? Speaking is not enough. Speaking is not enough. So that's why, and it's kind of like ignorance is not bliss. The laws of the planet, and I always say that, but like with gravity, is that if a baby went to a cliff and it went over the cliff, the laws of the planet doesn't say, oh, well, the baby didn't know any different, bless its little cotton socks, oh, it's a mistake, should we just stop that baby from dying? No, gravity works regardless if you know it or not. If you're getting downloads, it's not like you get half downloads. It's not like you only get to choose what you want to do in the download. They get everything I get. If they choose not to take steps forward, it's like you with your intuition. Every single one of you should have been booking me and doing counselling now and all that kind of stuff. You don't choose to take action on it. That's exactly like the other spiritual leaders. Doesn't mean you don't hear it. Doesn't mean you don't get the downloads. It just means that you just don't choose not to take action. But like the law of gravity and all laws of this planet, it's like, well, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, which is mission on planet Earth, please go and check out what mission means. It doesn't mean Reiki. It doesn't mean speak, right? It doesn't mean, and I compare it to Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. Was he doing tarot readings? Did he go on YouTube and do a couple of chats? Or was he doing like a massive, saving the planet and all these massive things to stop the planet blowing up. That's what mission is. Mission is saving the planet. Standing on YouTube, I repeat, talking about stuff that everyone gets. Soulmates can get the downloads, right? The difference between us and the soulmates is that we have extra gifts and extra heightened abilities, right? So we can do a bit more than what a soulmate can. That's the difference, right? Doesn't mean we're better than them, right? Without them, this planet wouldn't even be as it is, in the good sense. They build it, the soulmates. We are here to protect what they built. That's the only difference. So if you're not doing that according to the laws, it's not necessarily with the, it's not like the twin flame contract will stop you, let's just say, from progressing in life. The contract of what you are here as an alien to do on this planet is against oneself. You are here to get to your oneself, and your core essence is mission. I can't state that enough. I cannot state that enough. The only good things about spiritual leaders that large it and stand up there and talk about and get all the ego and all the stuff for themselves is, thank God they don't do something like, I will teach you to be like me, right? Because the one doesn't work. The one thing doesn't work, just talking. Because of it's actually a contradiction, because it's going against what you was taught at school, and you don't really need to, because at school you're teaching to just watch. So all they're doing is teaching you the same thing of just watching, which don't do anything. Anyway, so I'm going to get back to the shift. So you're going to see, this is when you're going to actually see all the big hoo-ha about the shift of the two worlds. This is why all alien, celestial, galactic beings are on this planet. This fucking divine moment now, right? All the twin flames, contracts from past lives, all that before is for this moment now. Because from now is when it starts to get corrupt. From now, when you see all those films, when it's all dark and they're all wearing a mask, you've seen them all, right? And you got to take the vaccines and all this stuff, and they're scanning your head, all the films, it starts from January. And I already said, I've been saying on the channel, November was the change, right? November was the change. I know that. And like, mark these words, January, you're going to start seeing the shit, really seeing it. So, like I said, I want to talk about on the Facebook group about how the vaccine affects humans, and how you can kind of get around it. I don't want to really talk too much about it. And, you know, more, okay, I'll put it this way, how health really helps with the vaccines and stuff like that. So I want to talk about that more on the Facebook page. But here I just want to say that now you're going to see more negative. Now you're going to see more darkness. Now is when the job losses are coming. Now is when the lockdowns are coming. Now is mandatory to have the vaccines. Now is mandatory to wear the mask. Now is when all this shit's going to happen. Now is when you're going to see people more zombie. Now you're going to start feeling more negative from people. Now you're going to start seeing more job losses. Now you're going to see more people asking you for money and coming out the woodwork because they're losing jobs. Now this is going to be the negative, right? This is what is coming now. It's very important. If you wasn't doing what I've told you to do, you're pretty much screwed. But here's the good news, right? Natural law works instantly. If you book me for an image reading, I don't say, hold on a minute, let me warm up, right? Let me get your energy, let me pull it in. Oh my gosh, you're halfway around the world, you're in Australia, so I have to pull your energy. No, instantly. So when you start making the changes, that will work. But obviously, here's the bad news. If you're not working on yourself and you've got that negative, that's why I said this health has been affecting quite a lot of light workers lately, because if I've got negative in, it tries to transmute it and chuck it out. So how they're doing that, like colds and stuff like that, is releasing it. But if you have all that within you, and then all this darkness is being released, and the darkness is, I don't know what they're called. I don't know. It's like, shall I don't want to really too scare you, but it's like dark ghosts. Ghosts. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's dark energy in the air, right? So if you have darkness within you, then it will attract more darkness, right? But if you are light, then you're protected, because all alien light beings should be protected, right? But you have to, you're not just, oh, okay, I'm spiritual, I'm protected because I'm chosen, and then they're just gonna zoom me back up when whatever. And I don't understand, you know, you have a purpose on this planet and you need to pull back and see what you're doing. So this darkness will attach to you if you're not removing that negative with the law of transmutation of energy. And how you remove it is to get into the, because most of you can't see it. If you lot brought a program from me and you're like, this don't fucking work, it's because you can't see it. Most of the time you do counselling with me, I get to the core, because you tell me things, I'm like, basically that's fucked up. And you're like, nah, it's all right now. You know, my dad beat me, but I'm talking to him now, it's cool. I'm like, no, that's fucked up, right? And you let your kids go round to your parents' house. I'm like, you don't, it's other levels of, it's too close to you. So I get it to the core of what the issue is, so you understand how you feel about the issue, because what most of you do is ignore the issue. Sexual abuse, you ignore. This planet's frequency is of emotions. Do you hear that? Energy, emotions. Hence why logicating doesn't work. This planet is of emotions, which is energy. Hence the laws of the planet. That's why I teach about natural laws. So you must get how you feel about the situation. If you are ignoring it and not going back to the sexual abuse, not confronting the rejection as a child by saying, oh, you know, it was quite normal for the family, you know, my dad beat all of us. Here's how that rolls. Say you're Pisces, and say you're, I'll say a Taurus. I don't know too much about star signs. Everything I normally talk about is channeled. That's why I don't know too many star signs, right? Say you're Taurus and say you're Pisces, right? Say there's two brothers and the dad just beat the brothers, right? The Taurus is quite stable, quite strong, quite solid, right? And might be able to deal with that differently. Pisces, emotions, water sign. So get hurt, overthink it all the time because they're in the imagination, might go into deep depression because of their upbringing, might suppress it. We're different on this planet individually, and that's why the Justice card is on top of the Tree of Life, is connected to Libra, because this planet is justice is in groups, which they love to put us in groups: black, white, gay, transgender. We're all fucking one. There's no like black lives matters. All fucking lives matter, right? All lives matter. Like they even separate the, what is it, the LBGDQ, that's a separation in itself, right? Then there's black color separation. It's like we're all one. We're all human race. Not black race, white race, human race, right? They like to separate it. So this Pisces will get really emotionally, this planet is about grouping us. Like if you go to court, if the parent has the kid and you're the better parent, but you don't have the kid the majority of the time, there's a book with the law that it doesn't matter if you're the better parent, all people that have the kid the majority of the time gets priority. Now this person could beat the person, could beat the kids, could neglect the kids, could do anything. That's natural legal law, right? That's why the justice is so important. Natural law, you just need to know it, and it abides with everybody. Like I said, the baby example. Everyone should know natural law. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't see colour. It doesn't see race. It doesn't care if you want to change your body. It doesn't care about that. It doesn't say, okay, this person's now gay, so this person's going to die, or this person's black, so this person's going to die, but the white person won't die from gravity. It's fair to everything. Natural law is fair. So if you learn to transmute it and stop bundling, well, my brother was fine when he was beaten, but I wasn't, so there's something wrong with me. Do you see what I mean? That's what I get into, the nitty gritties. But my mum just saw my dad beat me, which is subconsciously fucking you up, because your mum is supposed to nurture you and protect you. She's the one who gave birth to you, but she's allowing your dad to beat you. So you're like, well, subconsciously, well, my mum allowed it, so it must be right. No, it's not fucking right. It's not fucking right to have that. That's why I bring it close to you. When I get it close to you, then you transmute it with the laws of the planet. Then you use your imagination, altered verse of reality, to change that. That's what this is about. Then you teach others. That's how you get out of mental enslavement. As I said I've done a video, I'll say it quickly. Like this planet, if you just love yourself with natural laws, your version of love, not what your parents want you to date John in the office because he's an accountant and he'll look after you. Don't care if you love them or not, right? Don't give a shit about that. No, this person will do. He's got a good job. That's what my mum said when I introduced my husband. Yeah, he works as a surveyor. He's pretty good. That's a good title. Didn't care if she didn't even go to the wedding, to be honest. Another story, right? But my point is that then your person does the same, right? Connect you with someone who they think their family should be, is good for them to know, right? You're the better option, but they don't care. They keep you hidden and showing to you what's hidden within you. This is about you working on yourself. The old way of doing things is ended. End of the old way. Now, if you're working on yourself, you might even feel that with your person. Lots of twin flames are feeling like they still love the person, right? But not going back to the past. That's this energy that's coming here. The past is gone. Everything in the past. And what this actual energetic shift frequency is doing is bringing us back to the now. Because we only live now. We live now. People say tarot readings are timeless. They're not, right? If you go back to a video of Taurus 3 months ago, it's repeating because you just repeat the same past patterns. I do readings and I do it for now, right? People hold their videos and the tarot readers and they say, oh, I had it up last week, I released it and stuff. I'm like, it's different. You're different. You've moved on. This stuff. This energy is bringing you, because what people do is live in the past or they live in the future. But everything happens now. And that now brings you back to the core of appreciation. If you don't appreciate what you have, you're screwed. Non-appreciation is why most people are screwed on this planet. That's the biggest thing I teach people in mission, right? You must focus on what you get, right? If you get, most people focus on the negative, right? And then I want this, and I want that. And they get it, and they don't realise that they've got it. They don't realise who helped them to get it. They don't realise what they got. They just keep wanting more. Now that's normal because we're evolving and this planet's always evolving. That's why it's always moving. But if you don't appreciate what you get, the law of the planet will, well, like attracts like. You don't appreciate it, so I'll just keep giving you things that you won't appreciate. It's very important. And that's what living in the now does. But most people don't live. They live in the past. It's wiping out the timeline of the past way. You will notice you don't want to go back to the ex. You don't, and it's not like going back. It's like you don't want to go back to the same situations of the past. This is bringing you not to the future, but to the now. So a lot is going on. But January, you're going to start seeing the changes. If you haven't started seeing them already, it's going to be, I think the word is covertly, in the background. This, what is happening, is all not in plain sight, right? This is all energetic frequency, all shift of the energy. So it's not going to, but it will come into the physicality, obviously. So, for example, how they're working this is the dark side is, for example, there be lockdown permanently, right? Say, for example, in UK, in a certain area. Then lockdown permanently or something like that. I'll say no, I won't say lockdown. They won't start with lockdown permanency. They will say mandatory to wear the mask. Then they will say it's mandatory to have the vaccine. And apparently there's another one you've got to have if you want to go to cinema, restaurants, theatre, stuff like that. They're going to start making things mandatory, right? And what you're going to do, people who stupidly watch the news think, oh, it's only in certain areas. But they're going to do it all over the area. So this time next year, you're going to think, oh my gosh, everywhere on this world is mandatory to wear the mask. If they went on the news and said, listen, it's mandatory to wear the mask, there'd be uproar. So they're doing it covertly, is what they're doing, right? This area, but then so people think, well, it's not everywhere, and they might undo it. No, this is, must hear me, this is the permanency of the fuck ups to come. It's the permanency. If they tell you it's mandatory, you're going to start seeing it. You got to wear it all the time. You've got to have the vaccine. Now, I've done a video talking about, like I said, how it shouldn't really affect you, right? And that's going to be, I'll talk about that a bit more in the Facebook group, right? So the shit's happening now. This is it. I don't know what else to say. This is it. No more of the past. That hence, like I said, even my tarot readings have changed. Now this is long enough as it is. So, but if you're working, if you're like me, I don't know what else to say. It's not going to make any difference, right, to your world. As if you followed this channel, it hasn't made any difference. And I've still got people successful. It hasn't made any difference to them. Right? It's not like, oh, unfortunately, Sarah Jane has to leave mission because, you know, with the virus and the lockdown, it hasn't made any difference. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to make any difference to anyone who's doing what they're supposed to do on this planet. If you're watching someone and they're saying it's affected you, it's affected their family, it's affected they're not fully on board. Right? They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm out. This is long as it is. I'm sorry about any delays. Today's the only day I'm just now starting to feel better. So I'm going to start trying to catch up. So, yeah, that's it really. So I'll see you over in the Facebook group. I don't know when I'm going to post that video, but please join if you want to join. It's a private group. Links in the description box. Speak to you later.